Welcome to Swartz Talkin Sports, and I am your host, Les Swartz. Tonight is going to be a little bit of a different show. We're going a little bit off the reservation with this one. It's going to be a good one. Normally, my co-hosts tonight are going to be Benny the Book and Al Chester, the Rattler. We pre-taped their segments earlier due to the impending hurricane and Benny taking off to New York. So you'll see them later on in the third segment with Benny's picks in the HBCU Game of the Week. But before we bring on tonight's special guest on this special show, let's bring on my co-host for tonight, all the way from Boston, Massachusetts, Stu Kaplan, my wrestling insider. Stu.
Hey, Les.
What's happening?
I'm doing great. I appreciate the opportunity. You and Tony, thank you very much. And little shout out to Joni, looking beautiful as ever.
Hey, don't I know it? This is going to be a great show. It's going to be really interesting because we're talking pro wrestling. We've had Hall of Famers, Stu. We've had Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, Emmy Award winning broadcasters, but we've never had a wrestler on the show. Tonight, we break that mold. So before we bring on tonight's special guest, let's have Tony run tonight's opening reel. For all you wrestling fans, you just saw the 1, 2, and 3. Let's bring on tonight's special guest, TNA's ajfrancis.
What's up, man? How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
AJ in the house.
Yeah, man. I hope you don't mind. I decided to light a cigar. I hope you don't mind.
Hey, are you kidding me? This is your show tonight, AJ. After what I just saw in the ring, you can do whatever you want to do.
It's funny because I never know when I do these shows and I do TV and I do anything else, I never know what clips people are going to put together. And it was just funny that you guys picked CCW from Orlando of all the possible picks. I mean, I did have a lot of fun with it with Jay Vidal. That was a fun match, and I chokeslammed the ever-loving life out of him, so that was good too.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I was going to say, Stu, you know a lot about the choke slams.
Yeah, oh yeah, giving them and taking them.
I hear you. So, AJ, the real reason we're here, we're talking Strive to Survive on October 5th in Clayton, North Carolina. You're going to be participating in a tag match. Before we get to that, though, we got probably going to have some questions out there from the wrestling fans. Want to kind of get to talk a little bit about ajfrancis. You know, where you grew up. I know I'm a big college football guy. You played for Randy Edsel at the Terps in Maryland. You're probably recruited by Ralph Friedgen, what I'm thinking, right? I got my history on you. I know you. Had a lengthy career in the NFL, but growing up, you were always a massive wrestling fan. And if so, who did you love? Like, who did you like to watch?
Yeah, I did. I grew up, my dad was a wrestling fan when he was a kid, and he got away from it when he was adult, like most people do. And
some,
you know,
he still does.
yeah, most. And he thought it might be something that I liked. And before I was 1 year old, he would put wrestling on for me, and it was just something that I gravitated to even before I was 1 year old. And then I never really stopped watching until I got to probably my sophomore year in high school, and I was just too busy playing football and doing all the things I had to do with football and, basketball and all the other stuff I was doing, school plays and whatnot. So I just fell out of watching wrestling. And then when I was in college, I got back into watching wrestling. And it was 2010. And then, I went to WrestleMania in 2014. And I got this WrestleMania tattoo, the 3 X's from WrestleMania 30. And I knew when I went to WrestleMania 30 that when I was done playing football, I was going to become a wrestler.
Nice. Well, Stu, I know you're familiar with with AJ, even entering the WWE and TNA and things like that. So I know you got some things you want to talk to him about. So we'll give you the floor for a little bit.
Yeah, AJ, I know you're talking about you had a run in the WWE and some of your favorite wrestlers. Obviously, Bret Hart was well before that. But
Bret Hart, yeah.
did
Oh
you
yeah,
have
like Bret Hart, guys like Booker T and The Rock, Stone Cold, and Undertaker, and Rey Mysterio, and these guys, man. These guys were the ones that like really brought me in, like made me a fan.
So obviously, yeah, you would see them in the back in the locker rooms. But did you ever work with any of them?
Yeah, I work with Booker every month. I go down to Reality Wrestling. He has a promotion in Houston that he runs, and I work with him there because Booker is good people's, and I want to see him succeed just like he wants to see me succeed. We became really good friends after the Most Wanted Treasure show. I did a episode with Booker trying to find the Junkyard Dog's long lost dog collar. So we became real cool after that, and I actually just had a match with Matt and Jeff Hardy last week in TNA. So I grew up huge Hardy Boy fan. So like, the Hardys are one of the biggest names in history of wrestling, and I got to work with them. I got to work with Triple H, like setting things up and like working behind the scenes, and Shawn Michaels same way, working behind the scenes, doing stuff with them. But like as far as like actually wrestling, no, never. But I did my first day in the Performance Center. I actually worked with the Undertaker in the Performance Center, so that was pretty cool. My very first day, I walk in and I'm like, you know what? Because when you first get to the Performance Center, at least back then, I wasn't in a class yet. You're supposed to go to class with a certain person, like Fit Finlay or Steve Corino or one of these guys that are like one of the trainers for the people there in the PC. And they have what's called open ring, which is like after 4 p.m. you can do whatever and whatever, like ring whatever you want until the rings close or whatever. And then, they were like, oh, well, it's your first week. You don't really have a class. Go to open ring with whoever you want. I was like, all right, cool. So I go to open ring after my workout and I go look and I just want to see who's in there training. I see all the big men in the middle ring. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I go look and I see Undertaker in the ring working with all the big men. And I'm like, oh my God. And I run upstairs, put all my stuff on and sprint downstairs. And I work with Taker my first day in the PC. So that was cool.
Nice. Now, do you still talk to anybody from, I know Swerve was with you when you were in Hit Row. Do you still talk to him at all? I know he's doing very well in AEW.
Swerve, not so much. I mean, we have mutual friends, but he's doing his thing. I'm doing mine.
Ashante.
Ashante.
Yeah, I mean they get the second run now. They're both doing. She's doing well with. I
don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in my video.
Yeah, we had you, and all of a sudden we lost your video.
Hold on, I don't know what's going on. Hold on.
Okay, we have.
Let me.
Hey, this
happens. That's the Undertaker. Is he there?
It is the Undertaker. Hold on, I'll be right back.
All right. Just letting everyone know this happens. This is live, so we do have technical difficulties. AJ will be back with us in a second.
That's all right, Les. You got me.
We do. I have my man. I got my wrestling insider, Stu Kaplan. Stu, I got to tell you, man, he's cool. Yeah, this is gonna be a cool interview. I really dig this cat, man. He's all right.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know he was a fan, growing up. He was born in the 90s. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, Bret Hart, Rey Mysterio, like you said, Booker T, very young in his career, with his brother.
Well, listen, I mean, the guy played major college football, in the ACC with Maryland, had a career in the pros, I think 6 or 7 years with a number of teams, including our hometown New England Patriots. He was in the practice squad. So, I mean, we hopefully can get him back real quick because I want you to talk to him.
There we go. Welcome back.
Yeah, I want you to talk to him about training, like who we train with. You said Bubba.
Popular women tend to just call you over and over again. You got to tell them that you're doing something. So when I did the thing with Undertaker my first day in the PC, but other than that, the legends that I grew up watching, they're not really wrestling anymore. So.
Yeah. Well, Ray's still wrestling, which I'm shocked with the amount of
Yeah, Ray is still wrestling. I haven't had a match with him. I did have a really cool moment with him at his Hall of Fame, where he really showed a lot of love. So it was cool. I told him at his Hall of Fame, I'm like, man, a lot of people start watching WCW because of like the NWO or because Hulk Hogan or because Macho Man. Like I started watching WCW because I saw Ray versus Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc, and I was like, oh, I don't know who this is, but I love him, and I don't ever want to watch anyone but him ever again.
AJ, I'll give you a better one. I saw Ray and Juventud and Ray and Psychosis in ECW. When I saw Ray walk into the hotel, and I go, "Who's that little kid?" Photographers take pictures of him left and right. At night, he's in there with his question mark trunks on, and I couldn't believe it. I was hooked on Mexican wrestling before that, anyways. But from that point on,
yes. See, I was the exact opposite. I had never seen luchadors before that. Oh. So when I saw you, when your first luchador, you see Rey Mysterio, that's like watching your first football game and seeing Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are talking like Chinese to me, so I'm just going to soak it in right now. I have heard of Rey Mysterio Jr., but the other thing, I have no idea where we're going here with this. But let me ask you a question. So you get trained by, was it Bubba? Was it Bub? Who
Bubba
trained
Ray?
You? Bubba Ray, yeah.
So I was trained at Team 3 Academy, which was owned by Bubba Ray and Devon.
Okay.
Dudley, but I was also trained by Billy Gunn. I was trained by Jay Rios. John Cruz. So
Jay Rios.
Yeah, a lot of guys. So these guys, it's funny because Jay Rios and John Cruz are both luchadors. And I am clearly not. So it's funny to the fact that they taught me how, to do the wrestles.
Well, we're going to do we have any questions, Joni?
We do.
So we got 2 questions right off the bat by some of our viewers. Tony, you didn't turn the green light on.
I didn't give
him
the
thumbs up. Come on, Tony. AJ is going to choke slam you on the 5th because you just
by the
screwed
way,
up.
This is not Tony's fault, but this is true. And I hate this. I don't know if Tony is an Anthony or not. But I hate when I go somewhere and they find out. First of all, I always tell people call me AJ. I don't even like being called Anthony. But when people see my first name is Anthony, like on my ID or something, like a TSA or something, and they're like, "Thanks, Tony." I'm like, "That's not my name. Please don't ever call me that."
Well, you're AJ. You're AJ here, and you're AJ forever with Swartz Talkin Sports. But listen, we're going to have our amazing chat girl, Joni, throw the first question out to our special guest, TNA's ajfrancis.
Okay. AJ, Michael asks, like any other sport, you have eras of players, rule changes, new federations, and the sport evolves over time. In your opinion, who are the best ever to step in the ring? Top 3 M&F.
Besides yourself, AJ.
Yes.
I don't know why I froze. Did I freeze on yours?
No, we're good.
All right, cool. It depends on what you're asking, because if you're asking all around game, right? Like in-ring performer, on the mic, character. I mean, me personally, nobody's close to The Rock, right? So are there people that are better technical wrestlers than The Rock? Yes, but who cares? Like, I see people that are technically better technical wrestlers than The Rock at every indie show, and they will never be The Rock, right? So it's like, The Rock is the greatest to ever do it, right? One person that should be in the greatest of all time conversation that a lot of people just overlook him, but if you look at his full body of work, would be like Brock Lesnar, right? Brock Lesnar has some of the greatest matches ever. He's like a legitimate star in the business. He was like the youngest world champion ever at the time when he did it. He was a legitimate heavyweight champion in college. Like, he as far as like his storylines, his matches, I'd probably, say him. And then like we're talking overall, like you'd have to probably say Stone Cold, because as far as his in-ring work, he was probably the best of the 3 of them between Rock, Brock, and Stone Cold. He's probably the best in the ring. And The Rock is my personal favorite, but I don't think anybody's ever been more over than Stone Cold. I mean, Austin 316 is still like WWE's highest like one of their highest selling shirts every single year. So it's like,
Yeah.
like in 2024, Austin 316 is one of his highest selling shirts. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you'd have to say that.
Well, I'm going to throw the same question to Stu. Stu, if you had to name one or two of the favorites, listen, it's all about putting asses in the seats at the end of the day
Yeah.
and collecting Benjamins. But Stu, you give me one or two of your favorites. So you
Oh,
think?
and before Stu goes, I would
Yeah.
like to say this also on the record. I've said this before, and I just need this point to be made. That's my current list. If you ask me in 5 years, it'll probably be Roman Reigns.
Okay. Oh, Joe Hanoi, Georgia Tech, baby.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead, Stu.
AJ, you took the words right out of my mouth. You really can't. I mean, I've been a fan since I was 9 years old. So you're talking, close to 50 years.
Yeah.
You go back, in the early days. For me, obviously, you Pedro, Strongbow. These are guys that entertained you. Were they good?
Yeah.
It didn't matter. You were entertained. For me, the Mount Rushmore, I would put Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie.
For me. And before we even got on the show, we're talking with Les. You're going to be working with one of my favorites is the Octopus.
John Gresham.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, I mean, unfortunately, he's not a big, tall guy, but I mean, for in the ring talent, unbelievable.
It's funny because me and John Gresham, when he first came to TNA, he had been at TNA before I got there, but when I got to TNA and then he came to TNA afterwards, he was like, I saw him wrestle a match. I want to say it was with Kushida. No, it wasn't with Kushida. I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe it was Trent Seven. And it was just an amazing match. And he came back to the curtain and and I was like, yo, man, incredible match. Like you are one of the best. You got this figured out, man. You're one of the best. And then like I go out and I do a promo and then I come back out and then he sees me in the back and he goes, nah, you're one of the best because what you just did is what I wish I could do.
Nice. Well, I get you guys all beat. Hold on. I get you guys all beat. I'm going old school, okay? I'm going to go to the first guy that started with the bravado and the over the top. I'm throwing a little superstar Billy Graham out at you, okay?
That's the reason my dad watched wrestling as a kid.
Hey.
He was a huge superstar Billy Graham fan. And that's when he gave me an opportunity to watch wrestling as a kid, it was because when he was a kid, he loved superstar Billy Graham. That's a fact.
The man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour, superstar Billy Graham. Listen, that's my wrestling right there. That's it for me. But let's throw one more question out there, then we'll go to a commercial break and come back with more AJ Francis, TNA's AJ Francis, and Stu Kaplan, our wrestling insiders. Let's throw one more question out before the break. Joni.
Okay. Tony Smeraldi asks, AJ, what is your dream match? Who is the ultimate wrestler you'd love to dance with?
Ooh.
I mean, the answer is The Rock, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. The next answer after that would probably be Roman Reigns, but I also don't know if that'll ever happen. If you're saying like those are my dream matches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as like I'm in TNA, who would I love to face at TNA? Moose would be great. As well as I mean, they're doing the WWE TNA crossover thing. So I'll put it out there. I want to face AJ Styles for the right to be named AJ. That's what I want.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
nice.
I like that. We have an AJ match.
That'd be great.
That's Steve fella, definitely.
Yeah.
That would
when
be
I call
good.
myself TNA AJ Francis, people are like, hey.
No, but that would be
thing.
great. The winner of the match gets AJ. The loser cannot use the name AJ anymore.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Ooh.
AJ on a pole, I'm telling you.
I like it. Well, listen, we've got more questions lined up for you, AJ. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with more AJ Francis and Stu Kaplan after this.
Forever 24 Fit, Leland's only gym with 24-hour access. Get fit when it's convenient, utilizing Life Fitness, cardio, and weight machines. And for those of you who prefer free weights, there is a free weight area as well. Start your membership today and get on your way to a better you. Six Happiness. Enjoy fresh Asian cuisine in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere where we believe good times deserve great food. Featuring the best sushi chefs in the Leland area. So come on in and we guarantee you will be delighted.
Welcome back to Swartz Talkin Sports. I'm your host, Les Swartz, the man in the middle, TNA's ajfrancis, puffing on. And
Monte
the guy
Cristo.
to the right. Hey, he's loving it. He's loving it, man. Look at this. He's smooth. He's smooth. The man to my right, it is Stu Kaplan from Boston, our wrestling insider. So, AJ, we got a couple more questions, but before I do that, let's see how good Tony is, because we're going to talk Strive to Survive, Saturday, October 5th, Clayton Fitness in Clayton, North Carolina. This is North Carolina Wrestling Association. Check out their Facebook page. All the information on tickets are there. Tony and I are going to be there. We're going to be in the ring. You want to take some pictures with us? You want a little autograph from some of us? We'll be able to do it. We're also going to be backstage doing some post-match interviews. So we're excited to be there and check out some of the fans there on Strive to Survive on October the 5th. But before we run the card, Tony, let's have one question for AJ, and then we'll run the card, one of which AJ's up for a tag title. So let's have a question for AJ Francis.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know the question.
I didn't. You were like, let's have a question. Okay. Gary McNeil asks, which wrestling moves are most difficult? The alley-oop, airplane spin, or the double leg takedown?
Whoa. Wow, Gary, you're surprising me with those. I never even heard of the alley-oop. So, AJ?
I mean, I guess the alley-oop, because I don't really know what the hell that is.
I don't either. It's a basketball move.
I'm sure it's something. I'm sure somebody.
He looked into the thesaurus. He was looking into the thesaurus for those words. I never heard of an alley-oop.
I'm sure somebody has a move called the alley-oop.
Gary,
so I'll say that one's the most difficult, because the other two are pretty easy. I played D-line in the NFL. I can double leg take down any human on earth.
Nice.
And the other one was what? What was the third one?
I don't know. What was the other one?
Oh,
the airplane spin?
Double leg takedown.
The airplane spin.
Airplane spin. Airplane spin.
As long as you weigh under 800 pounds, I can put you on my shoulders and spin you around.
Okay. Well, just do me a favor. When I meet you on the 5th, I don't want to go for a ride on the airplane spin. Okay. We're gonna have Tony run some of the matches in the Strive to Survive. So we'll have Tony run them down. You know, AJ, you're probably familiar with a lot of these guys. You know, some from TNA. Stu, you guys take it away. So right away, we've got the AIWF Mid-Atlantic Championship, which is Justin Flash against Kid Neon. So we'll keep moving down the list here. That's going to be one of the matches.
Yeah, Kid Neon. I like Kid Neon. Mind you, most of these people I've never seen before, but I'm going with Kid Neon.
You like Kid Neon? Way, yeah. Okay, so you guys like Kid Neon.
I like his look.
You like his look. Okay, we got Brock Anderson. Now, we all know his daddy. He's going to be fighting Chase
Bloodline,
Emery. What are we doing?
I'm going with Brock. I'm going with Brock. I know him. I've met him many times. Actually, most of the time I met him was in North Carolina, so that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely Brock Anderson, Les.
All right, you're going with Brock Anderson. Okay, wow, look at this. We got Chet Sterling with Jimmy the Mouth of the South Hart against
Jimmy Hart, baby.
Jimmy Hart. Is he going to bring his megaphone? We want to find that out.
He's definitely bringing his megaphone. And
he's got it there in the picture.
He'll bring a loud-ass jacket, too.
Yeah, I bet he will. And he's going to be battling Wyatt Sutton. I like the outfit. It's kind of like the...
like Bam Bam. He's getting
Bam Bigelow. Yeah.
I was going to say he's trending a little Bam Bam Bigelow with that thing.
I'm gonna go with it. Jimmy on the outside is born to, cause shenanigans. So I think I'm going to go with Chet Sterling on that one.
All right, we're going with Chet
AJ,
Sterling.
You beat me to the punch every time. I had the same thing. And plus, Wyatt Sutton, it's a knockoff of Bam Bam Bigelow. Now, disrespectful.
Whoa, disrespectful. Okay, we got the, I can't even, is that FSPW? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
FSPW Championship. Jackson Drake. I like the name. But Morgan Dash. Two cool names. I just like Morgan Dash. He looks like he's doing a little like martial arts kind of thing there. So,
you can't, not every title's going to change hands. So I'm going to go with Jackson Drake in this one. That's what I'm going.
All right. I like the belt.
I'm going, AJ, I'm going with a double count out only because I weigh more than both of them together.
Double count out.
All
Somehow
right,
I think that match will not end in a double countout.
And this is a biggie. This is a big one here. We got the Monster Mayhem match. 3 guys. I know you guys are familiar with these participants. Maybe you can talk a little bit about some of these guys. Stu, one of your favorite guys in the middle here.
Yeah, I got to go with Jonathan Gresham. Definitely.
I'm going to go with PCO because PCO is the man who beat me for my TNA digital media title. And, he's literally a monster. So the Monster Mayhem match, Yeah, nobody's gonna beat PCO in a Monster Mayhem match, I don't think.
Now, he's the guy that looks like he's hooked up to an electric chair, correct?
Yeah, he's Frankenstein. Yeah, he's the French Canadian Frankenstein. Let me tell you, he's a hero in Montreal.
I cannot wait to meet that guy on the 5th. Let me just tell you. And then we've got from what everyone's telling me, these two gals are on TV a lot. You got Rosemary and Savannah Evans. Okay, what are we looking at here, guys?
Rosemary's in the middle of a good run on NXT, so I think she's got this one in the bag. I do think Savannah Evans is a very underrated talent. She's great, very underrated. I think that we should use her more in TNA than we do. So yeah, I would go with Rosemary on this one.
All right, Stu, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, I do like Savannah, and I think AJ, you're working with KC now in your new faction, and he was with Giselle, if I'm not mistaken, and she was the bodyguard. And I think that you're right. She should. I mean, she's a giant. They should definitely do more with her, but I think Rosemary's gonna squeak it out.
Okay, and then look at this. Okay, here we go. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about this match. Okay, we got AJ Francis teaming up with Alexander Moss with Nick D. I can't wait to meet this guy. And you guys are battling in the NCAA championship belt here, North Carolina Wrestling Association against Kilroy and Cazone. I just want to know, who are you going to choke slam first, AJ?
Oh, they both catching a choke slam for sure.
I like it. Are we going to do both at the same time? Can we do a left and right-handed choke?
I've done that before, too. I'll choke slam the life out them boys at the same time. That's the thing, is that, like, choke slam, see, people don't understand, is like, obviously people talk about wrestling and they wonder, they talk, you can say whatever you want about wrestling. You can say, oh, it's phony baloney wrestling. Oh, it's not real. Oh, you can say all that. But if I pick you up above my head and slam you to the ground, I guarantee your ass will stay down for 3 seconds.
You know, AJ, I've always said this about wrestlers. No, I've always said this about wrestlers. And everyone always, the naysayers will say what they say. And I said, you got to understand, these guys are tremendous athletes. The things that they do in the ring, if you tried that, you'd break your neck. And if these guys aren't careful, they can get injured. So, I don't want anybody to ever knock the athleticism of a wrestler, because they are unbelievable what you guys do.
It's always funny to me, because wrestling, like internet people and sometimes wrestling fans and just non-wrestling fan internet people will like try to downplay my athletic background, and I'm like, I played 6 years in the NFL and you couldn't start on JV, my boy. Like, let's be for real.
That's right. I was going to say.
That's why they're in their parents' basement making fun of them. That's it.
Hey, listen, you played ACC football, Division I. You had a 6-year NFL career. I think you're one hell of an athlete. And after watching some of the videos, I can't wait to check you out in person on the 5th. We got another question here, so let's have Joni throw AJ another question.
Oh, we actually have a lot of questions.
We have a lot of questions.
Fast and furious, AJ. You're very popular.
What can I say? I'm a man of people. They gave me the digital media title for a reason. I am Mr. Digital Media.
There you go. There you go. Well, I do want to just say one comment. Wicked Dreams says, hey, AJ, my son Damien is very excited to meet you again.
Yeah, I think I talked to him earlier too on social media. But yeah, man, I mean, AJ brings the people out. The people want to see me. They want to see Dollar. They want to see me come out there and choke slam the life out people. They want to see me. That happens everywhere I go. It's very rare that usually when I go places I get booed, but that's part of the show, right? So after the show, they spent the whole show booing me, and then they line up to buy autographs and action figures and take pictures and those things. So,
AJ, you put asses in the seats, man.
Like, here, the greatest Batman movie of all time wasn't because of Batman. It was because of Heath Ledger. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I get you. The villain always gets top billing. Okay, let's go to another question.
Okay, K-Mac. What do you think about wrestlers kicking out of wrestlers' finishing move? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and place for everything. And that, like, for example, I don't know if anybody ever kicked out of PCO's moonsault until me and him had our match at Slammiversary. And when we had our match at Slammiversary, I kicked out of his finishing moonsault because it was one of the biggest matches on the card. It was the biggest crowd TNA had in 10 years. He was the hometown hero, so we wanted to add a little drama to it, and I kicked out of his finisher move. There's times and places for it. It can be overused in the right storyline, in the right match. Like, it's supposed to happen that way. Like, Cody Rhodes is supposed to hit the crossroads and win a match against me on SmackDown, but he's got to hit it 3 times at WrestleMania to beat Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a time and place for everything. If people are kicking out of finisher moves all the time, then it ain't a finisher move.
Oh, you just took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah,
it's not a
sometimes it
finisher
works,
move.
sometimes it doesn't.
That's true. That's true. Well, listen, if you're out there right now and you're viewing tonight's show, please pipe in your questions and comments for our special guest, AJ Francis, TNA's AJ Francis, and our wrestling insider, Stu Kaplan from Beantown. So let's get another question out there, Joni.
All right. Kevin Campbell asks, AJ, how do you think you would have fared in the ring with Andy Kaufman?
Oh, my God.
I would have probably broke Andy Kaufman's neck for real. Andy Kaufman, all-time great, but Andy Kaufman was a $135 soaking wet with bricks in his pockets. So, like, there's not a single weight that I do in the power lift that I do in the weight room where my first set is less than 135. So it would have been, I was gonna say it'd been a long day for Andy Kaufman, but it would have been a very short day for Andy Kaufman.
AJ, let's just put it this way. I could choke slam Andy Kaufman through the mat, okay?
You know what I'm saying?
I'd take him out. Stu, I'd like to see you give him the splash or something off the top rope. What do you think?
Oh, are you kidding me? Andy Kaufman?
Well, if Lawless
we can't do it now that he's not here, so.
Hey, listen, Lawless slapped the shit out of my... Well, that was all. We all know behind the scenes what that was, but that was pretty
That was
interesting.
great.
That was great.
Unbelievable. Everybody got worked.
It was. That was a great angle. They really did. People really thought that they really hated each other when they actually were very good friends. So it was a great way they did that. Good question there, Kevin. I figured you'd come up with something crazy. Okay, what do we got next?
Okay, question from Michael Paulson. AJ, what was your favorite part of the hit row in WWE/NXT? And what has been your favorite moment of your current TNA run?
My favorite moment of hit row would either be when we did the Cypher celebration after Swerve won the North American title. We did a rap concert celebration. There's never been anything like that before or since in wrestling. So I would say that, our run on SmackDown, while we didn't get, a lot of the opportunities I thought we were going to get, we did get a tag team title match against the Usos. So, there's a lot of good things that happened there. A lot of stuff from Hit Row. But as far as TNA, like I mentioned it earlier, man, that feud I did with Joe Hendry turned Joe Hendry into a star. Like, Joe Hendry's a household name. Joe, you're welcome. You still owe me some cigars. But, like, after that, really my favorite thing that I've done so far would be the feud I had with PCO, which, ended up in us having that match I mentioned in Montreal. Me and PCO stole the show. Me and PCO were the reason the people were there. They were in the building to see AJ Francis versus PCO. And, I have been told many times that it probably should have been, the main event. It was a good show. It was a good match. It was a lot of fun to be able to do that with PCO, especially like PCO's a legend in the business. PCO used to wrestle Bret Hart. I told you Bret Hart was the reason Bret Hart's was one of my all-time favorites. So, like, PCO's been around for a long time, and it was PCO's first match in his hometown on television, and we stole the show. And, go back and watch that match. Listen to the crowd. From the moment that I come out through the curtain till the moment 1, 2, 3, they are fully invested in that match through and through. So it's like, honestly, that'd probably be my favorite moment of my wrestling career was that match at Slammiversary versus PCO.
Nice. What do we got, Joni?
Okay, a favorite fan of the show, John Irwin. Have you ever been in a Texas chain match?
The Texas?
Well, not a Texas chain match. There's they do have Texas chain match, but no, I've never been in a Texas chain match. I've never been in a Texas leather strap match. I've never been in one of those. I have been in a Texas tornado match. That was a couple weeks ago on TNA, it's just a tag team match, but there's no tags. Everybody's legal all the time. I've been in one of those. That was a lot of fun. We did that with ABC. I've been in some pretty cool matches. I've been in some really good matches in Texas. I've wrestled in Dallas, Houston, Arlington.
Wow.
I wrestled in Austin, San Antonio, El Paso. The list goes on and on. I put numbers on the board in Texas.
Stu, you ever wrestled in an Indian strap match? And just to let the viewers know, Stu went to Killer Kowalski School. He was a former wrestler. He worked security for ECW, one of the most famous ECW shows of all time, may I say. And I was working security that night as well. But Indian strap match, you have any familiarity with it there, Stu?
No, I know what it is, but no, when I went to Walter School, there was never anything like that.
No.
He wasn't into the gimmicky stuff.
No, they were just back in those days. They were just like, "Hey, take 150 bumps today." It was like, "What the?"
That was practice days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was going to school. Yeah.
I don't really. My big thing is when I train, like I don't train like other people. Like in a match, if I have a match, if I have a 20-minute match, I'm gonna bump at most 4 or 5 times, and I probably shouldn't even bump that much, right? As big as I am, but I will.
Explain what a bump is, AJ. Explain to the people.
A bump is when you take anytime you hit the mat.
Okay.
Right. If you flat back bump, a face bump, anytime you hit the mat. Right. So like I'm not gonna in most matches I bump once, maybe twice. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that second one's usually the finish.
Who in the world is going to pick you up and drop you?
Exactly. Man? That's the point. That's the point I'm making. So like, but when you go to these classes, people were like, all right, let's start with 25 bumps and then let's do rolls. And if I do a roll in the match, people are like, what the hell are you doing? Like, so like I don't believe in doing anything that you wouldn't do in a match. And that's the thing that a lot of people in the wrestling business don't agree with me on. But a lot of people in the wrestling business have never been real pro athletes, and that's why they feel that way. Because like, just because I played football doesn't mean that I was throwing passes before practice and after practice just to keep my arm loose, just in case one day they need me at quarterback.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
Like, play your role, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to do that. Now, I used to do things like catch passes on the jugs machine, because when you play D-line, you might get one chance a year to catch an interception.
Yep.
So your hands got to work that one time. You know what I'm saying? So you got to keep those ready. Gotcha. But short of that, I don't like to do things that I would normally do in a match.
All right. Let's have another question.
Okay, so Tech for Fun is admiring your neon lighting back there. Where did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you get the neon lighting?
Tell them to ask my ex-girlfriend, because she bought it. I don't really know. I'm assuming probably Amazon, and they're called Govies. I got a couple of them around the house. You can change the color on them. It's pretty cool. I usually keep it green for the money. So it's good vibes back there. I got my college Maryland jersey right here. Got a couple other NFL jerseys over here.
You got the belt. What's the belt behind you?
Oh, I got 2 belts. I got the.
Stu was asking that question. What are the belts?
I got the Maxwell Street Heritage Championship, a promotion in Chicago. I actually go there tomorrow to defend this.
Okay.
And then I got the WNRN All Florida Championship. I'm basically I'm the greatest wrestler in Florida. That's what I am. So I could slap a hurricane. That's basically what they say.
Well, let me tell you, there's a hurricane coming. So
yeah.
We got to tell all our fans we have a large viewership in Florida. So thoughts and prayers with you guys as you batten down for this massive storm that's coming up. Hey, real quick.
Usually them hurricanes don't be doing nothing though. Like usually the thing I tell people all the time. I told this to my sister too. I've been trying to tell my sister to move to Florida. She still lives in Maryland with the rest of my family, and I be telling them, they're like, you want me to move to Florida? They got all these hurricanes. I'm like, as long as the hurricane doesn't hit your exact city, you're usually good. Yeah. And even if it does hit your exact city, it just might not be. Hopefully it's not your part of the city where the damage happened. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare that actual damage happens to your house in a hurricane. Like, very rare. It's very unlucky, very unfortunate. Plus, you can't even have a house in Florida without hurricane insurance. So it's like,
true.
You know what I mean? Like, situations.
Well, we're in North Carolina. We're in Wilmington, so we know a lot about hurricanes.
Yeah. Hurricane Andrew.
Well, I can ask you a question, AJ. So real quick, question for me is, you seem to travel an awful lot. What is a schedule like? Let's just say a monthly schedule like in the life of AJ Francis. What is it?
Depends on how hard I want to work. That's the cool thing about being an independent wrestler. I get to pick my own schedule. But let's say I just go worst case scenario. And by worst case scenario, it's worst case scenario in the fact that I'm doing a lot of work, but I'm going to be making a lot of money too. So it doesn't really matter. So,
Gotcha.
but it's, I would leave on a Thursday and I would either have a show Thursday night or I would just be resting in a hotel. And then Friday I would have a show. And then Saturday I'd have a show. And Sunday I'd have a show. And sometimes I'd have to travel each one of those individual days. And sometimes they're all in the same place. So worst case scenario, it would go, I fly out Thursday. I have a show Thursday night. I fly somewhere Friday. I have a show Friday night. I fly somewhere Saturday. I have a show Saturday night. I fly somewhere Sunday. I have a show Sunday afternoon because nobody does Sunday night shows unless it's like Labor Day weekend or something. And then usually I fly home Sunday night after that Sunday afternoon show. And then I'm home Sunday night or Monday morning. And, I'm off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then, Thursday I'm back traveling again. Sometimes I want to take it easy. Sometimes I want to go on a vacation. So, I might only work Friday, Saturday, or might only work Saturday, Sunday. But worst case scenario, I'm working, 16 days a month. And I'm making pretty good money doing it. So, most other times I'm literally just sitting here in front of my TV. As soon as this interview is done, I'm going to play video games.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all I do in my off time.
Stu, it seems like it's a structured life, but there's a lot of traveling involved.
Yeah, definitely. AJ, the question I had for you, are you a contracted TNA wrestler?
Yeah.
So what is your TNA schedule like? I mean,
TNA usually, TNA does a lot of filming. So we on TNA, for example, usually I only do TNA at most 2 weekends in sorry, I dropped some. At most, I'll do 2 weekends in a month. So I'll do like
in one venue?
In one venue. So like this weekend, for example, we have a show in South Carolina in Spartanburg this weekend, right? So normally, if I didn't have this show tomorrow in Chicago, I would fly out on a Thursday to the show. And then Thursday night be in a hotel. And then Friday we film this. We have like a pay-per-view or a show. We film the show. Saturday we film the show. And then Sunday I would go home. So we'll do 2 days in a weekend usually for TNA. And then we might do that twice in a month. Sometimes we only do it once in a month. So at most for TNA, I'm working 4 days in a month, at least 2 days in a month. And then I just fill in my independent schedule after that,
So in the interim, that's what you're doing. You got those dates open, you know what to pick and you know where you can be. And
exactly.
TNA, I mean, that's obviously your main one is TNA.
Exactly.
All right, well, we got some more questions.
I am TNA AJ Francis, yes.
You are. TNA's own AJ Francis. We got the green light on.
No, Schwartz, I need you to say it. TNA Francis.
TNA Francis.
There you go.
There it is.
Dude, wait a second. He called me by my last name, Stu. Am I gonna have to open up a can of what on him when I meet him?
Well, you got to see him in person. I'd love to see that.
You can try.
You're going to talk to the chest of him less. That's where your mouth is going to be.
Hey, AJ, I'm small, but I'm slow, so you better watch out, okay? So we got a couple more questions here. So, Joni, go ahead. Fire them off.
All right. Gaming with CJ has a good question. How do you become a wrestler?
Go to wrestling school. Go to a wrestling school. Yep. The wrestling business is just like every other business. Your talent doesn't matter. It's all about who you know. So, it's... you can go to a wrestling school that has, like a reputation of someone there has a name in the business because you're only as good as your recommendation in the wrestling business. Someone has to give you a shot. Find the right person to, big up your name and, train and come up with a character. There's two main methods you could do it as. You can be a super duper wrestler, or you can be a great character, right? I personally could be a super duper wrestler. I personally don't want to. It's a lot more work. I'd rather cut a 2-minute promo than work a 40-minute match. That's just me. Moose and I had a 30-minute match in Canada last week. And afterwards, I was like, Moose, why did you make me wrestle 30 minutes? And he's like, "Oh, we're getting ready for that main event, brother. Me and you." I'm like, "All right, whatever." But the main event's gonna be 22 minutes plus entrances, Moose. Okay, so but
You didn't blow
yeah,
up. You didn't blow up, AJ, did you?
no, you can't blow me up because the good thing is I'm so big. I was taught by Undertaker. Undertaker himself said, "Man, you're so big. Walk.
Yeah,
You're in the ring. Walk."
Mhm.
Walk around the ring. Command. It's a command. Makes your presence look very commanding. It shows you're in control. And then when you need to quick up real quick, do something fast, go back to walking. So you can't blow me up because as soon as it's my turn to do something, I'm gonna take as long as I want, and that might be 45 seconds. And it's me getting energy from the crowd, but really I'm just breathing.
Well, let me ask you guys before, because the green light's on. This thing could be on. I don't know. The wrestling,
We have a lot
the
more
wrestling
questions.
community is, something. AJ, I got to tell you something. And I know we said 20, 25 minutes, and I really appreciate you hanging on here. But we've had Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, Hall of Famers, All-Stars. They do not garner this many questions. So you are outshining a lot of people, my man. I'm just telling you.
My
Okay?
thing is this. Look, I tell wrestling is wrestling as big as football? Absolutely not. But are the fans more dedicated?
Yeah.
Yes. You can go. I played in the NFL. I was in the NFL I was on the Miami Dolphins for 3 years. I could walk anywhere in Miami and 99% of people would have no idea who I am. If I walk anywhere in a wrestling town, the Orlandos, the Chicagos, the Phillies, the New Yorks, those towns, if I'm in North Carolina is a wrestling state,
Mhm.
right? If I go anywhere in those areas, I can't go 12 hours in public without people recognizing who I am. You know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah.
like, it's a different level of fandom.
They're passionate.
Like
They're passionate.
wrestling fans send mail to my house. I don't know how they know where I live. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
That's a little scary. That's a little disturbing.
Really, it's a great feeling, AJ. It's a great feeling.
and then they'll like get mad at me on social media and be like, "You didn't send." They'll send me mail with like pictures of like, "Can you sign these cards and send them back to me?" And then I'll be like, not send them back. Or sometimes I do if it's a little kid, but if it's an adult, I'm like, "No, I'm not sending this back. You shouldn't have my address." Like, are you crazy? Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, if it's a little kid, I'm like, "All right, I'll send it to him, whatever." But wrestling fans are very dedicated.
Yeah.
You got to realize wrestling is the one kind of thing is like wrestling's cool. Like it was cool in the 90s and it's cool now, but like it's still like cool the way like death metal is cool.
Yeah.
Like it's its own fringe cool.
Yeah.
It's not all like it's not everybody's not into it. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. No,
Soap
it's,
opera for men.
Yeah, so that's all it is.
well, it's got its niche, right? And it's got its niche,
Yeah.
and like you said, they're dedicated and passionate, and
Yeah.
and they love wrestling, and they'll do whatever it takes to watch matches. So, all right, we got more questions. Let's get some more questions out of
We
Joni.
do. K-Mac, he asks, do you think AEW crossed the line at the last PPV in the Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland match?
No. I mean, when you say cross the line, like I don't know. They didn't. I mean, they did like there's no such thing as crossing the line. Like
The needle to the
Swerve,
mouth.
Swerve put a needle in his mouth, but that's what he wanted to do. Like, would I ever do that? Absolutely not. But like, that's what they wanted to do. Is that like crossing? Is that more crazy than Kane setting his hand on fire, or Cactus Jack in Japan with the barbed wire? Is the barbed wire ropes less crazy than that in the 80s and 90s? Like, I don't think so.
But
Like,
that was a storyline, AJ. That was a storyline.
I don't care.
I saw the needle. It had nothing to do with the storyline. Like, I'm trying to figure out, why are they doing it? Is it setting up the next match? No.
No. It was
So
just-
what happened? Can you guys
it
explain
was
to me
gruesome.
what happened?
It was gruesome to be gruesome. You got to understand. Especially like it's not just AEW that does this. A lot of companies do this. Where like sometimes they put on matches that are just gruesome for the point of being gruesome. Like there's fans that like that. I don't.
Yeah.
Backyard.
I
Hardcore.
think that that's absolutely lame. But like I wouldn't do that. But at the same time, like that's what they wanted to do, and that's how it came out. Like that's how the fans who are into that kind of thing loved it. Like the AEW fans loved it. Like the people complaining about it don't watch AEW. Like I would never do that, but that's not me. Like there's things that I would do that they wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not a better wrestler than Hangman Page, but me saying that, like, I'm not a better in-ring wrestler than Swerve, but like even though they are better quote unquote wrestlers, they wanted to do the needle spot. So like, let them. I don't care.
But AJ, did you see the match prior to that when
No.
Swerve was bleeding and Hangman opened his mouth and it went in his mouth? That's the only thing I could think of was they wanted to top that. You know what I mean? Where they did that. What can we do to surprise everybody? Even
but that's the thing, is that's also why I don't like to do those like when I wrestled PCO, I went through a table off the top rope. I got choke slam on a pile of chairs. Oof. Like I gave him an electric chair drop on a pile of chairs. I hit him with a chair probably 20 times in the match. Like I hit him in the head with a trash can. I put a trash can on his head and hit him with a steel chair. So it's not like I don't get violent and stuff. I do that too. It's just like there's another level of it that I wouldn't do, but it doesn't mean it's wrong.
But AJ, you're talking the fans. A certain set of fans. The fans are yelling tables, chairs. We want
every time.
Right, but they're not yelling syringe to the mouth. I've never heard that. I was in I was doing security.
Syringe to the mouth.
I saw everything. I never heard a fan yell syringe to the mouth, but I've heard tables.
They do staple guns. They do everything. Like here's the thing: is like I wouldn't do light tubes either.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's not. I don't do that. That's not.
Doesn't make sense.
That sounds very hardcore to me.
Japan made a career out of that.
Yeah.
Terry Funk and what is it?
Cactus Jack.
The Jack and who was the other guy?
But
the Japanese guy.
Stu, from your thing way back in the ECW, Sabu. I mean, I've never seen a guy gets lit on fire. He's getting his flesh torn off.
Yeah,
I saw it. It's unbelievable.
That's crazy to me too. I wouldn't do Sabu. Every time I go to Las Vegas, I end up running into Sabu, and he always forgets that we've met each other before. But that's a whole different thing for a whole different time, right? And he was doing absolutely crazy things, like he still is. Like Sabu still wrestles. Sabu be on some of the same cards that I be on. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just part of the business, man. Like, I would never do those things, but that doesn't make it. I don't care.
Yeah.
My personal thing is like, I don't care.
Right.
Like, it doesn't affect me. Now, wrestling fans care about everything.
Well, speaking of the wrestling fans, we got a lot more that want to pipe in. So you got AJ Francis for a little bit longer. TNA AJ Francis. I got that right.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I did.
You added an extra.
Did it again. TNA Francis.
It's TNA Francis.
TNA Francis.
There it is.
Mock to mock, right there. Mock to mock, AJ.
I'm gonna start putting it on the thing here. All right, let's get another question for TNA Francis.
Okay.
There it is.
Tech for fun. Are there sponsorships in wrestling, and then are the matches enough to pay the bills alone?
I mean, you got to ask the promoters, not me. My bills get paid. They pay me for sure.
Yeah.
I hear these horror stories about promoters not paying wrestlers, but if a promoter don't pay me, he better be able to whoop my ass.
Well, that's a note out to all promoters. Yeah, you better pay AJ Francis, so he's gonna whoop your ass.
Oh, I see it. TNA AJ Francis. That's right there. That's it right there.
Tony's the best, man. I'm telling you, this guy's a producer like A++. Let me just tell you. All right, couple more questions for TNA AJ Francis.
There it is.
Les does need some help. He really does, but
yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, Wicked Dreams. Will you be at the TNA shows in Fayetteville, North Carolina?
Actually, that TNA show, I don't think I'll be at. I'll be at the one. I'll be at they're doing shows with AML that same weekend. I'll be doing the AML show on Sunday, but I don't think I'll be doing that TNA show on Friday. So if you want to see me in Carolina that week, come that Sunday to make sure you see me at AML. AML is another promotion in North Carolina. I think the guys at NCWA met me and saw me for the first time at AML, and that's how I ended up at NCWA. So I'm really excited for the NCWA show coming up on the 5th. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
So we've had this show planned out for a while now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And this is Lewis Moore promoting this show. And like I said, October 5th at Clayton Fitness, Clayton, North Carolina, Strive to Survive. You'll see AJ Francis. You're also going to see Les Swartz from Swartz Talkin Sports wearing the logo. And you're going to see Tony Smirali, the Tiger. We're going to be in the ring. We'll be around. So if you want to check us out, please pop over, say hi. We're open to that. So a couple more questions before we let AJ go.
Yes. Christian, I'm going to mangle this name, so sorry, Christian. Singulus, what would the storyline be between Hitro and Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy have looked like if it would have gotten to happen?
Man, so we had a whole plan for that, man. It was crazy. Unfortunately, rest in peace, Bray, a legend, my idol really in this business. When I went to that WrestleMania that I got tattooed on my arm, I went because I wanted to see Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. Bray Wyatt, is a legend. And, we had this, I don't know, Les, I'm going to test your knowledge here. Have you ever heard of the movie called Leprechaun in the Hood?
Yeah, that was Leprechaun 2 or 3.
Leprechaun in the Hood.
Don't put any ideas into his head. We'll be watching that tonight.
You should watch it.
Is it a horror movie?
It's a horror.
No, I'm not watching it.
He doesn't watch horror.
I don't do horror
comedy though. It's a funny.
Hold on.
Warwick Dunn. AJ. No, hold on. No, we're gonna watch it, and I got your address, and I'm gonna tell you what I think of this thing. Okay?
Yeah. Go ahead, send it to me. It'll be
Leprechaun in the Hood.
Oh my God!
Yes. So basically, that
Lord help
that
me.
movie. Basically, the short theme of that movie is the leprechaun has like this magic golden flute, and if you have the flute, you get like endless good luck. Like all the good things happen to you in life. You get rich and everything good happens to you. But the entire time this is happening, the leprechaun's trying to kill you to get his flute back, right? Oh. So the idea was, Bray Wyatt had the Firefly Funhouse, and he had all his puppets in there and whatnot, who have now manifested into the Wyatt Six. But at the time, he just had his puppets in the Firefly Funhouse, and my idea was for Hit Row to stumble upon the Firefly Funhouse and steal one of his puppets. And then the puppet brings us good luck, but while it's bringing us good luck, Bray's trying to get it back the whole time and hunting us down, just like the Leprechaun does in the movie, which eventually leads to a tag team match, which in my grand scheme was going to lead to Alexa Bliss being back involved with Bray Wyatt. There was a lot of things and Bray loved this idea. Me and Bray would talk about this idea like ad nauseum, but he was supposed to do the thing with Bobby Lashley going into WrestleMania, and then he got sick, and then he got healthy, and then he unfortunately passed away. So, it was tough, not to be able to potentially live out something like that. But I am very grateful that I was able to give Bray, his last moment in the ring in WWE was with Hit Row. Nice. So, for someone who I respected, who was literally, said it before, I said it again, was my idol in wrestling, creative genius. To be able to do the last thing he ever did in the ring with him, in front of the audience was incredible.
Well, TNA AJ Francis, I got it right that time. No mistakes on that one. No mistakes on that one. We're done with the questions?
Well, we have a few more, but
okay. Well, because we've kept you, man. I mean, you've been amazing. You've been a great sport. I told you 20, 25 minutes, but the fans, you said it. The wrestling fans are passionate, man.
They love it, man.
They love you. They love you, man. Yeah. So they want to come out and see you on October 5th. So let's get one more question out there.
One more from Kevin Campbell, because he keeps asking, what about the Gunners jersey? AJ, are you an EPL fan?
Yeah, my team is Arsenal. Hopefully we don't finish in second again.
All right. You're an Arsenal fan. I'm a West Ham United fan. I'm a Hammer fan.
You got it way worse than me.
Hey, listen, we got a great movie about us, Green Street Hooligans. You ever see it? It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We had the firm, baby. We kick, what? We kick, what we do. So, well, listen, I want you to give the fans out there that are going to be coming to Clayton, North Carolina, I want you to tell them, give them a message for October 5th.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to come out to North Carolina and see TNA AJ Francis, the hottest act in all of professional wrestling, I'm going to be there, man. There's going to be a great card. There's going to be a lot of other great acts on the card. I love PCO. Gresham, Rosemary. Seems like a off-brand TNA show, honestly, but it's going to be a good show. And like I said, I never disappoint. You come see a show I'm on, you're not going to leave that show saying, "Man, I wish AJ would have did more." You're going to leave that show saying, "Man, AJ, what a guy, what a performance." You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm only giving you a 10-minute match, it's going to be the best 10 minutes of your life.
North Carolina Wrestling Association on Facebook. Check it out. Check out the information for tickets. It's Saturday, October 5th, Clayton Fitness in Clayton, North Carolina. Tony just threw it up there. It's a great card. You've got TNA Ajfrancis in the house. He's there to choke slam. He's there to put asses in the seats, and he's going to do both. And Tony and I will be there from Swartz Talkin Sports. Before I let you guys go, hey, by the way, AJ, I know Stu doesn't golf. Do you golf?
Yeah, not very well, but I do golf.
All right, so before we let you guys go, Joni's got to throw a special announcement out for the Brunswick Literacy Council annual golf tournament that we'll be going to. So, Joni, throw it to you before we go to commercial.
Okay, well, the Brunswick County Literacy Council is a nonprofit organization that provides free literacy classes to underserved adults in Brunswick County, North Carolina. So the Literacy Council will be holding their 34th annual golf tournament at the Lynx Golf Club at Brick Landing in Ocean Isle Beach on October 16th. It will be a captain's choice event with a light breakfast, buffet lunch, and prizes. So for more information, visit bcliteracy.org. Thank you for letting me announce that, Mike.
And by the way, man,
hey, if you want me in that golf tournament, all I need is a flight and a hotel.
Dude, you know something? Hey, actually, you know something? Seriously? I think I can get you out here because I need a fourth for my thing. You could just choke slam all my competitors.
Sounds good
If I
can
get you, AJ, right on the air, everyone's hearing this. If I get you a flight here in a hotel right over here right in Wilmington, would you come?
October 16th.
October 16th. It's a Wednesday.
Yeah, if I'm not already planning to do something, absolutely. That's not
if you don't have any plans, I will fly you out for the Tuesday night, fly you back on Wednesday night. You come out, you play golf with me and my foursome. We will kick it. We'll have a great time.
Yeah, bring the beers too.
Oh, don't worry. We got plenty of those.
The beers and the stogies. You see, that's what gets me on the course. You know
we got a great cigar place downtown. Are you kidding me? We'll hook you up. Don't you worry about it. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for taking time. I know we said 25 minutes, but you've been awesome with this thing. We got this is the first time we've done a wrestling show, and I hope it's not our last because I'd love to have you back. You've been an amazing guest.
Appreciate you, man.
So thank you, AJ. Stu, you've been awesome. Thanks so much. I couldn't have done it without you. Taking the place of my two co-hosts. So, guys, this is, again, TNA Ajfrancis. I am kicking it. I'm getting it good. I will see you on October 5th, my friend, all right?
See you, man.
All right, guys, peace out. Have a great rest of the week. We'll be back with Al's, the Rattler Chester's HBCU Game of the Week, and Betty the Book's picks after this.
Forever 24 Fit, Leland's only gym with 24-hour access. Get fit when it's convenient, utilizing Life Fitness, cardio, and weight machines. And for those of you who prefer free weights, there is a free weight area as well. Start your membership today and get on your way to a better you. Six Happiness. Enjoy fresh Asian cuisine in a relaxed and friendly atmosphere where we believe good times deserve great food. Featuring the best sushi chefs in the Leland area. So come on in, and we guarantee you will be delighted.
Welcome back to Swartz Talkin Sports. I am your host, Les Swartz. First of all, I want a special thanks to TNA wrestler Ajfrancis for being on the show and talking his upcoming matches on October 5th in Clayton, North Carolina, the North Carolina Wrestling Association, and our wrestling insider, Stu Kaplan from Boston. Special thanks also to Lewis Moore, the promoter for the show, for putting this all together. Well, guys, we're back on to football, off wrestling, the man in the middle, Al the Rattler Chester, live from Jacksonville, Florida. Al, I know you got some bad weather coming in the next few days, so thoughts and prayers with everyone out there in the Jacksonville area.
Thank you, Les. I appreciate it, man. I tell you what, these storms coming up the Gulf Coast have wreaked havoc on the state of Florida and the surrounding areas. So hopefully folks that are well prepared and no one is injured as a result of the tropical storm.
And my man to the right, Benny the Book, the king of Carolina. Benny's going to be heading up to New York after the show. So, guys, We'll start in college football. Before we hit the HBCU game of the week and the Rattler recap, let's just talk real briefly about a couple of really big games that happened last week. The marquee game really was Tennessee going to Norman, Oklahoma. It was Oklahoma's first SEC game ever, and Tennessee really didn't disappoint on the defensive side of the ball. They didn't light it up, but they certainly, Jackson Arnold didn't last very long, didn't even last the first half at Oklahoma. So, guys, your take on Tennessee's big win in Norman, Oklahoma over the Sooners?
Very impressed with that defense, boy. I'll tell you, they were swarming all over the place. And Oklahoma's defense was, I thought, just as good. I mean, they held that high-powered offense. They let up a few big plays. They didn't capitalize on some of the plays they made, which, the game wasn't as close, but because the Oklahoma quarterback just didn't have it. He couldn't move the ball against that defense.
Tennessee, obviously, with the young quarterback, I tell you, the gunslinger, he can play, and I think we're going to see a lot of good football in these coming few weeks. But great football game between the two. Could have gone either way, but like Bennett said, the Oklahoma quarterback wasn't able to put it together. I think that it's going to be a great the coming days are going to be better.
And then a couple of big games that happened in the Big 12 especially. You had Utah going to Oklahoma State. Tough place to play in Stillwater against Monk Gundy's crew. And you're down Cam Rising, who just can't catch a break. I mean, this kid, when he plays, he's lights out. He just can't stay healthy for whatever reason. But they go to their third-string quarterback, Isaac Wilson, who is the brother of Zach Wilson, the former #1 draft pick by the Jets out of BYU. Played really, really well. They hung on at the end of the game. In BYU, in a game that I don't think was a surprise that they won, but how they won, they really put the clamps on Kansas State's offense. They beat them pretty good down in Provo. And I got to tell you, BYU always has a rugged defense. They seem to have a pretty opportunistic offense this year. And you got to watch out for the Cougs this year. They could be a surprise in the Big 12. You had the Hail Mary at Colorado beating Baylor. For as great a catch as it was, you got to question Baylor's defensive backs. I have no idea what they were doing, letting a receiver get behind them in that situation. And, and we got some big games this week, guys. I mean, the marquee game, let's talk about it real quickly. It's the game on everyone's radar. This could be a potential national championship preview this early in the season. You've got the Georgia Bulldogs, former #1 Bulldogs, going to the #4 Crimson Tide. It's the first time that the Crimson Tide have been underdogs at home in 17 years, right, guys? Wow. 17 years, it's been 2 decades. And I just want to get your take. Al, let's go you first about the matchup, but who do you think has the advantage in this matchup this weekend?
Well, I think it's a great matchup. They match up well against each other, but I tell you what, Georgia's offense has not been kicking on all cylinders this season. And Alabama just been just the opposite. I think they have a great defense. They play fast, very physical. Georgia's I guess Georgia has the advantage, if you will, based on them being the top dog. Until you knock the top dog off the horse, it's still a top dog. But I believe Alabama's going to get Georgia on Saturday. I like the way Melrose is playing at quarterback. I like the way the guys are responding to him. And I think it's going to be a great contest. This is why you play college football, to watch and play in these type games. All
right, Benny, Georgia, Alabama.
Yeah, Al took the words right out of my mouth. The Georgia offense is, they lost their 2 best receivers. The offense is just not what it was last year. The kid, they were hyping him for the Heisman. He's a good quarterback. And I think Milroe's going to give that Georgia defense all they can ask for. I like Alabama a lot. I think Alabama's, they got the new coach there, but he's a winner. He wins at every program he's going to. So I see Alabama taking that game. But there may be a rematch. You never know.
Okay, so you guys jumping on the Alabama train. I am going to stick with Kirby Smart's crew with Georgia. I think they got scared straight in Kentucky. I didn't think they were up for the game. I thought they were going to have an easy time of it. And Kentucky played them really, really tough. I'll tell you the one thing that I'm not impressed with Alabama so far. I think Milroe's done great. I think Kalen DeBoer has got that offense humming right now. Defensively, they're giving up runs. I don't think Alabama is nearly as stout as they have been in the last couple of years. Have lost a lot of players on that side of the ball. I think Georgia's going to pound the ball. The young freshman, I think his name is Robinson, is going to get a lot of carries in this game. And I think that Carson Beck's going to come alive. And I expect Georgia to win this game by 10 points. I know it's kind of crazy. I know they're favored by 2, but I think they're going to cover in this game. I really do. I think you're going to see the best of the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend. And also Michigan, big win against USC, and USC's first Big Ten game at the Big House. Michigan came back at the fourth quarter to pull that one out, I think 27-24 against the Trojans. So
now what's interesting about that game is they ran the football. They pounded the football. Michigan did. I don't think they threw the ball but 4 or 5 times the entire game.
Yeah, they went to their running quarterback, their big bruiser, and they went back to their way they won last year.
Listen, at the end of the day, guys, you go back to your identity, right? And the bread and butter of the Michigan Wolverines under former Coach Harbaugh, and it looks like Sharon Moore they're going to pound the rock, right? They're not going to sit back and throw it 35 times, and they're going to wear you down. And it's kind of what happened to the Trojan defense in the fourth quarter, is they kind of got worn down, and Michigan scored that late touchdown to beat Miller Moss.
Could be a new Big Ten team, Illinois, going to Penn State. Had a big win on the road last week.
Big win against Nebraska. In a former is another transfer, guys. We talk transfers. Luke Altmaier, the quarterback for Illinois, former quarterback at Ole Miss, was the #1 recruit at Ole Miss, the 4-star kid. Wasn't going to get the playing time. He goes out and plays. Very impressed with Beal Smith's team. Played very good defensively. In the overtime game, which I watched, Dylan Raiola, they were all over him. Let's put it this way, guys. You start the overtime at the other team's 30-yard line. It was 4th down on their own 38. They went backwards about 40 yards. So great defensive stand there by Illinois in overtime to win that one, and a surprise a little bit. But, Al, let's go to the Rattler recap. I know you were out there in Alabama last week, Troy, Alabama. Give us a quick recap on tough loss for the Rattlers. They took it on the chin this week, but they'll bounce back.
Well, let me do this. Let me drop back on the game of the week from last week, which was a great game between Bethune-Cookman and Clark Atlanta. Clark Atlanta, to me, upset Bethune-Cookman. They kicked a field goal with time running off and upset them in Daytona. And I'm sure that they took that on the chin. That was a tough loss. But the Rattlers, man, I tell you what, the score was not indicative of when the game was actually played. We were in this football game most of the game. It got away late in the fourth quarter, if you will. But going into half, it was 14-9. Troy, we knew they were a good program, always have been. They've been playing some tough football teams this year. Hadn't won a game. This was their second home game. And 14-9 at halftime. They had to kick to us the second half. I said if we went down and scored on that drive, we would win this football game. Well, we didn't go down and score. And obviously they've got a receiver out there, man. I think you're going to see him on Sunday. He is not a real big kid. He's about 6 feet, about 165, but he can run. And he caught 2 long touchdown passes the prior week against Iowa and ran a punt back for a touchdown, just about duplicated that same effort against the Rattlers. But I feel good about where we are in terms of a football team. If we play like that, now we match up better with them than we did, obviously, Miami. Mm-hmm. But if we play like that, the rest of the next 8 games, I think we can run the table in the SWAC.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what the Rattlers do. Just real quick, speaking of the state of Florida, we were all over 2 coaches in the state of Florida last week, and Billy Napier in Florida and Mike Norvell. Norvell gets his first win this past weekend, and Florida goes down to Stark Vegas and beats up on a real hapless bunch of Mississippi State Bulldogs, looks like. So, at least for the time being, Billy Napier is seats warm. It's not as hot as it was 2 weeks ago. Let's see if he can string together a couple of wins, but he's got a real tough schedule on the back end of it with the SEC. So,
no doubt.
HBCU game of the week, it's going to be the Jackson State Tigers against the Texas Southern Tigers. It's going to be a battle of the cats in this one. And both of them coming off, tough losses, right? Jackson State
absolutely
got drilled 41-20 by Grambling, and Texas Southern lost to Lamar last week in a close one. So what are you looking for?
And these are 2 stoic black college programs. When I think of Jackson State, I think about Walter Payton. And when I think about Texas Southern, I think about a guy like Kenny Burroughs. Both of these guys have passed on, but great players that I watched and idolized as a youngster growing up. This game is going to be played at Shell Energy Stadium. The head coach, T.C. Taylor, is in his second year. He replaced Deion Sanders. They went 5-3 in conference play last year, 7-4 overall, but getting off to a slow start this year. This should be a classic. The new coach at Texas Southern now is Chris Dishman, who you played in the league. I'm sure everybody remembers his name.
With the Houston Oilers.
They finished 2-6 in conference play last year and 3-8 overall. I think it's going to be a dogfight with these Tigers, but I'm leaning toward Jackson State for a victory. It's going to be on TV. It's going to be on ESPN, so get a chance to watch it. We'll get a chance to watch it because our game, Florida A&M versus Alabama A&M, has been rescheduled because of the storm. We're going to play that on the back end of November after the Classic. We're going to play that on the 29th of November on a Friday, and they're negotiating now with ESPN to see if we can cover that game. We're playing Friday because on Saturday, Florida State play in Tallahassee as well.
That's a big weekend in the state of Florida for football. Benny, real quick, Benny, do some research on this. Did Michael Strahan go to Texas Southern?
He did.
Okay, I just thought
he's a Texas Southern guy. Guy. They have a host of professional athletes from both schools, and just like HBC across the board. But Strahan is a graduate of Texas Southern University.
All right, well, that's Al with the Rattler recap and the HBCU game of the week. Al, I know you're off this weekend. Like I said, our thoughts with you guys, you and Karen, family and friends, and let's be safe out there. We'll be in contact with you.
Be safe out there, Al.
And we'll be in touch with you, Al. We'll be checking in.
All right, guys, take care. Be safe.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, Al. So, Benny, we got your college picks. We're going to go to college and pros. It's been so difficult this year to pick these games. It seems to be, especially in the NFL, we'll get to that, upset after upset. Teams that you think have no chance, forget about to cover, but to win, and they seem to win in bizarre fashions. I don't understand what's happening in the NFL, but let's jump to college first. Let's go with your three-star games first, and lead us off.
Well, we talked about the first one, Alabama against Georgia. We got
UNLV Fresno State will be
UNLV Fresno State. Okay. These are two undefeated teams, and UNLV, I just looked at the current line on the game. It dropped all the way down to 1. So I don't know what's going on here. But I'm gonna stay with UNLV minus the 1 at home against Fresno State. They have looked very well so far, and we'll see what happens.
Now, this is a Mountain West game, as you said, both undefeated. Yes. UNLV has got second-year coach Barry Odom, who's turned that program around. I mean, they went into Kansas and beat Kansas, very, very decisively in Lawrence, Kansas, and and they got a kid, Matt Sluker, who's a transfer from Holy Cross, triggering that offense. So you like UNLV to cover there. Okay, what about game number 2?
Alabama, I'm pretty sure, is the game number 2.
Let's have Tony throw up the graphics on this one. You got Alabama
plus the 2 points against Georgia.
Now, again, first time underdog in 17 years. This is Kalen DeBoer's first year. You like who in this game?
I like Alabama. I like Alabama a lot. I like Al said, he goes that the Georgia offense hasn't been really doing a lot. I'm sure Alabama's going to be up for this one. So we're going to go with the Crimson Tide here.
Do you think Alabama wins outright, Benny?
Yes.
Okay, so you got the Tide winning outright. That's 2 picks. Let's go for 3.
Duke NC. We got a lot of Mac Brown talk. They think it's about time that he left. They didn't expect him to be here. I think it's his 6th or 7th year, and this might be his 7th year that he's been back to North Carolina. I don't think
time around for Mac Brown.
Yeah, and I don't think they expected him to stay this long on this stay. They gave up 70 points last week. I mean, Duke has been playing very well. We had the coach on that 1 week. They went on the road, and they've won on the road. So I like Duke laying the 2.5 points.
Coach Simmons must be doing something right at Duke, because the running backs after our show have 2 of them successfully picked up over 100 yards in 2 successive games. So he's done a great job coaching up those running backs. To your point about North Carolina, Mac Brown, I saw the replay of the game. Benny, he looked bewildered on the sideline. Like he didn't have any answers, didn't know what was going on. That supposedly he asked his team if they wanted him to resign. The team overwhelmingly said no. So I think this is probably his last year. He's been coaching for a long, long time.
Yes, and it's things you're with the changing of the way things are done now, and it's just
the landscape of college football, right?
Yeah,
and
maybe
you've got
time.
NIL, and you got the transfer portal. I just think that some coaches are just past. I don't want to say expired, but he's been coaching a long time in a certain way that football was played. and coached, and it's different.
He's been
now.
around. He's been around a long time.
Yes.
Always been a great coach, but it's just so everybody has their time.
All right, and we got give us your two-star picks.
I got two games here. I got the Buffalo University at Connecticut plus the 6 points. Buffalo had a upset win over Northern Illinois last week.
Big win.
UConn did win. They won pretty convincingly. I think they scored a lot of points last week, but I'm going to take Buffalo. I think their program's a little bit better right now. I like them with 6 points. I don't know if they're going to win the game, but it should be a close game.
But do they suffer that letdown like Northern Illinois? They get the pat on the back for 2 weeks with the bye week. Notre Dame, and then they lay an egg. And then you got Memphis, who goes into Tallahassee and lays the wood to Florida State, and then they get upset at home by Navy. So, these teams, they can't seem to... they get all the accolades. They get the big win, and they're on a roll, and the trajectory is up, and then they just seem to play a flat game, and they just don't play inspired football. I don't know why, but let's hope that doesn't happen to the Buffalo Bulls. And then your last game, I kind of like this pick. It's. I think this is a sneaky pick.
I'm surprised you like this pick because you've been touting Boise State all year long. This could be a trap game, but Washington State, very good offense, scores points, plus 7.5 points against Boise State. I'll take those 7.5 points all day long with an offensive team. I think they could score with Boise State, and Boise State likes to run the game. So therefore, the game will be shortened if they continue to run the ball. It's not going to be running up and down the field. Hopefully. So I'll take the 7.5, and hopefully we'll start turning it around now.
Yeah, Ben, I love Boise. I think Ginty is definitely in the Heisman race. I think he'll gain a lot of yards. But there's a quarterback at Washington State. His last name's Mateer. John Mateer, I think, is his first. I think it's John Mateer, but people want to check on that. He's putting up total offense numbers, unbelievable. He's running the football. He's passing the football. I don't know if the Cougs are going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think you could see this thing 48-45, 47-42, something like that in the Cougs cover. So I do like that pick. All right, so let's jump to the NFL. Listen, the experts out there, and ESPN and
it's so tough.
Fox and all this. Nobody's picking these games right. It's just unbelievable to pick these games, especially against the spread. But I know it was 0-4 last week.
1-3. 1-3
last week. Oh, you won the Jets game against the Pats.
I won the Jets. The first game I picked was the good one. A little confused. I mean, New Orleans.
I know.
They don't get stopped. Philadelphia plays in a shortened week, loses at home, and they go on the road and beat New Orleans. They beat them.
And New Orleans scored, 13 points. That was it.
Yeah, 15-13. They scored. They were held. They scored with 2 minutes to go in the game to take the lead, and then Philadelphia drives down the field and wins the game.
Hurts didn't have another great game though. He's really, for some unknown reason, last year, the last 6 games, his play kind of fell off. He's not making the throws. He's not as accurate as he was in the Super Bowl run. When they made the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Something going on there. And then obviously, the Raiders. I don't understand that one. How in the world the Raiders at home after going and beating the Ravens team at Baltimore, playing against a backup quarterback, Andy Dalton, I think, has been in the league 12 or 13 years. They benched Bryce Young.
He had a red rifle.
Yeah, and they made the red rifle look like Tom Brady.
Like he should be in the Hall of Fame. Yep,
unbelievable.
It's very hard. That's the NFL especially is try not to look what happens the week before because your instant reaction is, oh, New Orleans is going to kill Philadelphia. Right. Oh, the Ravens, the Raiders, they're going to go on a roll now and they're going to win. And it's just every week, anything can happen. You just got
any given Sunday, right?
Anybody can win. Oh, the Redskins, your boy.
Jaden Daniels absolutely.
Oh my God! Broke the NFL record for the rookie quarterbacks, 91%.
Was he 21 for 23 for 247?
I'll tell you what. They talked about him a lot the last few days. He looked awesome. From the pocket. Well,
they say he's shown tremendous poise. He did that during camp and right leading into the games. Boy, if you're the Chicago Bears, and I'm not. Listen, this is not a debate, and this is not a downer on Caleb Williams, because listen, you got the whole year to go and things change. But if you're the Bears, you got to be thinking, did we take the right guy?
See, Caleb Williams went into a good situation. They got a lot of weapons for him. I mean,
the Bears have Keenan Allen. They got DJ Moore. They drafted.
They got the receivers. They got running backs. But he'll be all right. He's
okay.
I don't know if he's going to be as good as I think Jaden Daniels.
We get any comments out there? If we get some Chicago Bear fans out there, I'd like to hear some comments as to, did the Bears get it right and draft the right guy? Let's find out about it. So, well, Benny, let's just jump to your picks this week. Let's hopefully we get 3 weeks in the bank here, so maybe we can get a little winning streak here this week.
All right, so I'm going to go with my first pick. I think this is the first one I gave Tony. The New York Jets. Laying 7.5.
Okay.
Against the Broncos. Jets defense is what it is. It's very good. Denver scored last week. Nick seemed to play pretty good. But I don't think he's going to play that good against the Jet defense. And I think the Jets are going to go on a little roll.
Bo Nix coming off his first pro victory, played pretty well.
And Denver does have a good defense. So, but I'm going to go with the Jets.
You're liking the Jets, Jets. Okay, how about game number 2?
Game number 2 was the
Chargers Chiefs.
The LA Chargers. I could have made a mistake here. I just got the report. Alt not playing. Derwin, their safety, suspended. Quarterback Herbert,
he's questionable.
Bum ankle. He'll play. I watched him against Pittsburgh last week. They fell on his ankle a few times. It's his back ankle too, so they pushes off. But Chargers defense played pretty good. I like the Chargers plus the 7.5, but the line is already going up to 8.5. So
first of all, hey Ben, Joey Bosa hurt again. What a shocker! I mean, this guy gets hurt more than. Listen, he's not nearly as good as his brother John.
No,
he's a B player when he's healthy, but the guy can't stay on the field. But they always play the Chiefs tough. I don't know why, but the last 3 years they played Kansas City tough. So you like the Chargers getting 7.5.
7.5.
Let's go to game number 3.
The Baltimore Ravens at home, laying 2.5 to the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo looked great Monday night. I mean, Allen, they talked about him. He's in command. He was very sharp. But the Ravens, they went to Dallas after a tough start, and they won there. They did what they had to do. I think. I love that coach. I think he's a great coach.
They ran the football, Benny. 154 yards for Henry. He ran the football.
Yeah, and that's what they expected. They expected to do that. So I'll go with the Baltimore Ravens minus the 2.5 against Buffalo.
And what did the Bills fans say? Stephon who? 4 touchdown passes to 4 different receivers for Josh Allen. By the way, Joe Brady, the former offensive coordinator at LSU, or passing coordinator at LSU when they won the national championship, goes to Carolina. Things didn't work out with Matt Rule. They threw him out. He is put just a great game plan together for Josh Allen and not running as much and staying in the pocket a little bit more.
That's right.
And he's done wonders for Josh Allen so far early this season. So kudos to Joe Brady. Let's go to your last game.
This one, it was a toss-up. There was 2 games I was thinking about, and at the last second, I just said, New York Giants. I went against them last week. It usually comes back to bite you. You pick against a team one week, and then you take them the next week. They looked really good last week. I mean, Cleveland has thrown 2 shit games in there so far. They really, really shitty games. I mean, they look horrible last week against the Giants.
And Myles Garrett hurt. He got
11 seconds into the game, they were leading 7-0, and then they just did nothing. He couldn't do anything. So Dallas, they look like they're all confused. They don't know what's going on. So I'll take the Giants at home in an Eastern Conference, Eastern Division game, plus the 4.5. And hopefully we'll do a little better than we did last week.
All right, so you like the Jets, the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Giants. Listen, Benny, there are some pro football boards out there that are touting Bill Belichick to the Cowboys. If the Cowboys do not make the playoffs or go one and done, that McCarthy could be gone. And they're saying Belichick could be in the mix potentially to come back and coach. I'll be honest with you. I've seen him in the media. He's not that good. He's very dry. I don't like him. I'm not a big fan of Belichick there.
I don't know if he could. I don't know if he could go to that organization because Jerry Jones, he wants his hands on everything, and Belichick wants to control everything.
Well, that's
there'd be two heads butting right there.
Hey, listen, it worked out with Jimmy Johnson. They couldn't stand each other, and they won 2 Super Bowls, right? But
they were teammates in college.
Yeah, that's true. They won a championship in 1960 at Arkansas. But well, listen, Ben, we got to roll. I know you're heading up to New York. I know, so best of luck up there. And
all right,
I want to thank everyone tonight. It's been an excellent show. First time we ever did anything on wrestling. So again, special guest AJ Stuart Kaplan, our wrestling insider from Boston, my hometown. Also, Lewis Moore for getting the whole thing set up. We're going to be in Clayton, North Carolina. You're going to see Swartz Talkin Sports. Myself and my producer, Tony, will be in Clayton to check out that show on October 5th. So please, if you're a wrestling fan and you're in the area, the card is great. The wrestling is going to be great, so check it out. So for Joni, my amazing chat girl, Al the Rattler Chester, good luck, Al, on this impending hurricane, Benny the Book, and my amazing producer, Tony the Tiger Smiraldi. This is Les Swartz. Listen, next Wednesday, 8 p.m., Donnie Gaffney, first black quarterback in the history of the Florida Gator program under Doug Dickey. It's going to be a great one. So we got Donnie Gaffney next week. This is Les Swartz. Have a great weekend, everyone. Take care.